again. As I mentioned, my name is France.Mongeon. I just started, it's been about a year. November 1st will be a year I've been joining Toastmasters. And I remember when I first started, I wanted to make a speech for making myself to go in front of people and be comfortable. But it's very nice to make speeches, but it's a very useful task for you to be an evaluator. By being an evaluator, as much as you help the other person to perform at their best, you learn yourself how to perform for your own benefits. So I decided to help you to learn how to be an effective evaluator. And by doing so, it's not so scary to perform and do a speech for about 2 minutes and see how you do for your fellow Toastmaster speech. I don't have the Confident Communicator. Ingrid has my book at this moment, but we have 2 books. Every time I have 2 books here. One for Confident Communicator, one for Confident Competent Leadership. And these books are all projects for you to deliver a speech or a duty, and somebody will make an effective evaluation towards that. Also, it takes about 3 weeks before you get your package from Toastmaster, and you will receive 3 booklets similar to this one. And there's one called Effective Evaluation. This book is very useful for you, and I think it would be a very useful tool for you to use them. So I would think that it would be a very effective, that you should read it. And sure not least, every week we have this little piece of paper right here. And we have first speaker up to 5th speaker. We also have an evaluation for Toastmaster of the evening, which would be at this point would be Terry, for example. And also, if you want, make a little, instead of doing for the 5th speaker, which we normally don't have 5 speakers in one evening, if you like one person did a very good job, let's say a grammarian, for example, you could say a little note saying, I really love how you worked this project, but I think you should emphasize a little bit better on listening, I guess, if you are the grammarian for this evening. Now let's start how the evaluation benefits the speakers. Well, first of all, providing immediate feedback. You're doing your speech today, and it's very nice to have somebody who can evaluate you because it's all fresh in their mind. And they can listen to you, and after you listen to you, they can provide feedback. And because it's so fast, you can say right away what you like or didn't like about their speech. Offering the method for improvement. Whenever you criticize something about their speech, you have to give a reason why. You cannot just say, I didn't like it because I just didn't like the material. Why did you like the material? It was lacking in research. I felt there was something missing in your research, and therefore that's why I didn't like as much your speech on that regard. You want to maintain the self-esteem for this person. There's nothing better for a speaker to feel great in their speech and build strong self-esteem for the person, and it grows this person very, very strongly. And it helps to motivate the person to make another speech in the later weeks. So how do we evaluate effectively? Well, first of all, you have to show that you're interested. And you make good eye contact with the person. You lean forward a little bit, and to have this barrier between the 2 speakers and you can feel you're more intrigued about what they're going to say in their speech. Okay, number 2, before the speech, talk with the speakers about the manual's objective. And the Competent Communicator is one of the best books for you to have questions to help the speakers to reflect more on their speech constructive evaluation. They have few questions to help you to guide through them. But even though they have nice constructive questions, it's nice to know what the speaker really wants to improve. My biggest fear, I guess, is for me to forget word and I lose my train of thoughts. And that happens quite often for me. And I know it's one of my biggest problems, and I really want to try to make it a bit better. So I would ask my evaluator and see how effective was my pauses, and for me to be more assertive to continue through my follow-up, my process of thoughts. Evaluation guideline. And, I forgot about this part. Just one moment, please. When I'm talking about the guidelines, you have to evaluate the speech, not the person. You have to make sure the speech is well constructed, well delivered, well paced, and whatnot. You cannot say, well, this person looks very pretty, all dolled up, makeup and everything. She looks so beautiful. I don't want to say she didn't have a very nice speech. Well, I'm sorry, I'm a pretty casual kind of person. I still would like to have very nice criticism. And you can also say any additional feedback. If for whatever reason you have a 2 minutes time frame to deliver an evaluation and you didn't have enough time to say what else you wanted to talk about, don't be afraid to say, how about we meet later around 9:30 or so after the meeting is done, and we'll talk more about this. Or can we set up for a time for a coffee and we'll talk a little bit more about my concern to you. And I really think it's going to get a better evaluation towards you. Personalize your language. Well, obviously, when you have a very, you have to make it your own when you're speaking to somebody. You have to make sure that you don't steal the beautiful, how can I say this? There's my process of thought, it'll just vanish again. I need to grab it back. You cannot steal the beautiful speech from the person. You cannot take all the gratitude towards your evaluation. So you make sure that you're always talking to the person. If let's say, for instance, Pedro is delivering a speech, I would love to talk to him and avoid very dramatic gestures to make, not to make the focus towards me, but towards Pedro. And that way Pedro knows I'm really talking to you and I'm not talking to everybody else. Because it's his feedback. Although it's nice to listen to me while delivering the evaluation, it's mostly for the person of Pedro's speech. And like I said, you do evaluate the speech, not the person. And always conclude with to promote self-esteem. To always say, I really love your speech, and I would love you to come back and deliver next week's speech or next month's speech. I love hearing your voice. I love the way you speak. I love your content. And I would love to learn more about something. Can you do a part B of your first speech? And that's basically how you can do a very effective evaluation. With the help of this little booklet you can read at home, don't be afraid to write any criticism or good feedback to whoever is doing duty tonight. Just write the name of the speaker and your name so the person will know who to talk to if they have any question or concern. And I will turn the lectern to Terry.